Welcome to SIBYA I.T. with Kuya JT. It is now the 24th of November 2020, and this is episode 33 of SIBYA I.T. Welcome nyo na tanan makaigsunan, and I hope humanamog paniod to and you are ready to discuss information, technology, news, gadgets, etc. sa atong program. Okay. Alright, so tanaw na ang atong headline news, US headlines, domestic headlines, etc. Okay. So sa atong nag-una ng mga major headlines internationally, ang Apple's Global Security Chief sa Apple, ug two members of the Sheriff's Office indicted for alleged bribery. So, tuwa na ko Global Security Chief na ka sa Apple, dako ng minilyon na imong sweldo kada buwan, unya ma-involve kag bribery. Tanaw na to ni. Sometimes allegations may grabe. Everyone you know right now uses Zoom. Now, originally, that was not the plan. Okay? Originally, din may plano nga everybody will be using Zoom. Nga naman niya itong bugdagan. Okay. Okay. See next. Tech. Okay. Save na siya. Next sa CNBC Tech is politics. Sabot nga nang wa ni siya magkuan. Ma-save. Next sa politics is health. Sa itong headlines, and next sa health is politics again. Next. Sorry. Next sa health is star. CNBC ulit. Ay. It's a CNBC poll is and next subhead is Biz. Next Biz is BOA. Nag-adjust ko makaigso na nanabilitan agad. BOA 20 is Euro. Is Euros. CNN. Latest. Next latest is dapat America. Next new is latest save. Tingnan ko ano na siya mag-adjust. Okay. Next is go back. Tingnan itong headlines. Sa laing bahin ang Snapchat na naroy iyang kabilingon nga itawag na to TikTok copycat. Grabe yan, Snapchat. Ngupya na sa tanan mag-TikTok na. Ang founder sa Zoom niingon he let down customers. Ngano ka gyud sa panahon na kay sa customers. O sa ubang mga headlines sa technology, ang Nvidia's superb nga GeForce now game streaming is coming to iPhones, iPads, and Chromes. Now, kaning Nvidia is a manufacturer of graphics cards for the computer. Nailagi gitawag na GeForce Now. It's a game streaming gadget. Game streaming na sa nila nga platform. O nga to na sa iPhones, iPads, ug sa Chrome. And gitawag og DirectX 12 Ultimate. It now supercharges graphics on Windows, PCs, and X12. Kaya DirectX mo na siya driver software. Sa laing bahin sa United States, nabuang na sila sa gitawag nato og Black Friday. Karong Friday, best early Black Friday deals on PC components, monitors, and networking gear. Grabe kayo. Oh, the best laptops paliton karon para sa Black Friday sa US, premium laptops, budget laptops, 2-in-1s, and more. By the way, although di ta kapalit sa Black Friday, pero makibawta mo sa mga pagong gadgets, it will open up our minds. And ideas ba nga, uy, na din yung nani mong butang, kaya magamit din ako, or can ask somebody in the States to buy it for me. Black Friday 2020, the best technology deals at Amazon, Walmart, Best Buy, Newegg, and more. Oh, the best graphics cards for PC gaming. A raging battle for high-end supremacy. Kaya baka kasi nagkontra ang Nvidia o ang AMD. Now, AMD, of course, it's known for CPU. What's na sila GPU, pero di sila yung manufacture. Kaya ang AMD nag-manufacture kasi yung kagilong graphics cards. Shots fired. Matod pa sa Intel, ang Ryzen 4000 nga CPU sa AMD stinks on battery performance. Kung battery na ko nagamiton ang Ryzen 4000. Og ang Samsung, the frame. Kita ko na sa kapaliton kay ko sa Samsung the frame, pero pagtanaw na ko sa akong bank account, di man makapalit gani og kuan akong bank account, di kapalit og battery sa auto. Pero ang Samsung the frame, ganahan kay kuan na ni sa Cebu ha. Samsung the frame 4K UHD TV. Mura siya og frame na gyud niya, ang iyang control box wala sa luyo sa cellphone, sa phone, nasa ubos. Hopefully kita tag mga videos no. Tanaw na to na og makakuntag mga videos dito. Sa nani problema ning kuan sa YouTube licensing. The best wireless mice, cut the cord with its top performance. No, wireless nga mouse pa yan. Ang problema kay most gamers, they don't want wireless mouse because wireless mouse have latency or na-drag mawahi ba. So for gamers, they always want the USB wired mouse. Uy, ang Dell XPS na siya 2-in-1. Okay, bagong 2-in-1. 9310 na gamit sa 11th generation sa i7. Oh, The Full Nerd. Episode na siya. Mura na siya kanang YouTube channel. Sa ilang episode 158 na sila Radeon's, ang AMD's Radeon Chief answers your burning RX 6800 series questions. Yeah. Ano mga headlines mga kaigsoon na? Okay. Oh. Mga bagong software. Mga bagong software makaigsunan. Na kung special pre-Black Friday pricing sa 12 minutes 12 min micro book library. Oh, ang Windows Pro 10, Windows 10 Professional Pro version. Magpalit nimo for just $39.99. Pila man na? 2,000 pesos. Nearly a massive 80% price drop. Yan, na po'y domain nga ngingan og .store. .store. It's a domain name for .store. Pwede na ka na. So, may bawaan nga tindahan na yung kuan. Matod pa sa Apple. Sorry, Android fans. 1080p is all we need for smartphone screens. Namang uban lagi nga higher than 1080, 4K, 8K sa cellphone, sa screen, ingon ng Apple. You don't need higher than that. Tungod sa kagamay sa cellphone. But, for the screen, sa resolution, 1080p. Pero sa recording, for example, ang Samsung Galaxy Note or Samsung series nga Galaxy series, Note series, nanam sila, or even the S series, nanam sila 4K recording, namgan 8K recording, but not necessarily sa screen. Matod pa sa Apple, you only need a 1080p resolution, 1080, tawag na 1080 resolution sa screen. Not necessarily the same for recording, because you can record in 8K. It's stored in your SIM card, in your SD card, and you can use it in the future for editing. You can use it in the future for editing. Okay, you can use it in the future for editing. So dili na siya ingon nga kuan ha. Dili na siya ingon nga bro screen ang 4K. The screen could only be 1080p. That's already good enough. Igagmay mo to screen. But you can record up to 8K or 4K or 8K resolution. Recording. So don't confuse between recording resolution and the screen resolution sa imong cellphone. And the Google Pixel 4a na cellphone is finally available in a color other than black. Black lang ito sila. Naam ko yung ganahag color. Like mga babae, ganahan sila fuchsia nga color or magenta. Now, na yung sa ka-post, should you use a password manager? About kaning password manager, nang bibilin kay ko na, yes or no ka ng password manager. Kay once ma-access imong password manager, ma-access tan imong password. Usa na ilang tirahan ang imong password manager. Og naay bagong policy ang Google sa imong storage sa Google Drive o sa Google Photos. Right. Kuya, headlines na to. Mga gadgets. Na kuno yung mga gadgets for the fitness enthusiasts. Na gadgets on smart light, security cams. Na mga gadgets on home like robot map. May mga map sa imong balay. And na touch enabled dashboard for smart devices, and it's coming to Amazon Fire tablets. Actually, I'm using a touchboard makaigsunan karon. Like right now, I can mute my mic right. Bang. So you can attach. For example, I can touch right now. I'll go to the chat room immediately kung kailan na chat room. Bang. Wapay messages sa chat room na to. Okay, I can go to world time using my touch. World time. Yes, nana. World time. Okay, so using touch, and I can go to the Johns Hopkins updates. Okay. Okay. Time. Balik ta. World time. Chat room. Nag-chat na to. Okay. I can mute my mic and I can get the mic back, and also I can turn off my camera right away. Bang, with a touch. So I'm using a touch portal. Okay, okay. So touch tablet. So right now I can go to the time. See, all of those are actual times, and the dials are actually moving. Each of those clocks are moving. Okay, and ay naminaw na to deron. All right. Sayop mo na. Let's go. Position. Back. Right. Here. Okay. So, nana. Kita niyo ang. So, you can look at the. So, this is part of my technology improvement. Mura sa kung CNN. 1 month CNN. Like the health headlines right now that you're reading here below, those are feeds directly from CNN, CNBC, etc. Automatic na siyang feed. Kunya, right now I can see at my back you have the Johns Hopkins COVID data, and if I'm blocking the data behind me, I can turn my camera off. See, I can turn my camera off right away using a touch tablet, a tablet controller. Back screen. Look at that. My camera on, camera off. Okay, and I go to world time. Yes, world time. Back camera on. So this is the time technology. Dapat ang DepEd magpa-consultan na ako. Aning, barato naman akong consultant si DepEd eh. Then back to the chat room. Kasi nas chat room na to ron. See. Okay. So kasi na sa itong chat room ron. Uy, si Ma'am Cheryl. Kumusta ba ka, Ma'am Cheryl? Actually, si Ma'am Cheryl, bagay sinanay sige pang-donate ng mga tambal o mga kaymanan para sa mga sakiton na ako rin yung stories rin niya mga tataong tamang panahon nga usak project na mo sa SIBYA TV nga manghatag na taning mga giveaways including mga tambal nga mahalon na ba ni mga tambala. Si Jonel sa Ma'am Cheryl. Okay, Jonel Lingasga SIBYA ang naminato gikan sa Mon sa Talisay. Okay. And again, pwede ko i-off na ko akong camera. Back. Ako akong camera. Go back to the world time. That instant. Kanya, pwede sad ko mo mute sa akong mic. Pinanawag na ako ganina. Wala ko ma-mute akong mic. But see? I didn't go back, for example, to the updates. See? So, information technology, I'm using a tablet for to control my screens, but initial pa ni siya. O pa na ako na siya ma-experimente. I have so many things to do. Naigi pang COVID, naigi pang dengue, naigi problema sa cholesterol, naigi problema sa leukemia. Ang sa paning usa na kung ano sigim sa kag inom aning humanity ma. Epektibo man sir. Nagawas ko sa ospital niya, bisag na pa akong sakit pero i-improve yung physical conditioning niya, wala na siya mag-transfusion. So, it's the cheapest way. Okay, so ano siya ha? Right, so on off, etc. Back to the chat room. Okay, time. Okay, main. Okay, so SIBYA I.T. Ano ito? Main sa SIBYA I.T. So, information technology na, di pa na ako ma-share kayo na kay lisod kayo. I still don't even know even the headlines nga na din ha. I don't know kung na-updated ba ang headlines. Okay. Obamacare. Okay, Philippine headlines. Okay, so ano siya? Daghang mga software and hardware combinations nga akong gi-eksperimentuhan, akong gigamit, and ang importante lang green screen. So you have a green screen, kakon ka sa imong background, and you can change the background. Okay. So balik nito sa atong news. Okay. So, marita sa main news, ha? Kining Apple's Global Security Chief, anong na-indicted man ni sila for bribery. Ha? Rated ba ni? Okay. Sige, updated siguro na. Okay, ikaw hawak ka. Ikaw minimize ka. Ikaw. Ikaw mga software nagdagan yung background. Okay, so na. Okay, ang Apple's Security Chief. Para good nga naman yung may change ito. Background. IT main vid. Standby. Leaving. Where's the background videos? One. Read off. Sad. So we can have different backgrounds also. Okay, so para na po nindot para sa inyong matatanawan. Okay, now, sige, next. Ang Global Head of Security sa Apple, duha ka member sa Santa Clara County Chief of, sabi indicted by a grand jury for allegedly requesting and offering bribes for concealed weapons licenses. Ayan, licensing din kay security chief man. Licensing din sa story is licensing sa kon. Ang Santa Clara County Under Sheriff Rick Song, Captain James Jimson managed to extract a promise from Thomas Moyer, Apple's chief security officer, that the company would donate iPads to the sheriff's office in exchange for 4 o 4. So, ko. Kung mura mo na sa ato, kanang hatag-hatag, taga-hatag iPad, may taga-imig license, okay. That were withheld from Apple employees, matud pa sa Santa Clara District Attorney's Office. The District Attorney's Office conducted a 2-year investigation in which it found that Song and Jensen held up the licenses, refusing to release them until they got something of value. Ay, nangayo ang kuan. Nangayo din. Hello. Okay. Cute niya itong kuan, no? Equalizer, no? Yan eh. Bali. Equalizer eh. At least man may baon ako nag-on akong audio. Kay actually, wala ko yung monitor sa akong, ano, I don't have audio. Okay, boss, audio na ito. Quality actually. In fact, okay ba, kusog ba na itong background din na sa sound? Sa organ? Hindi mo siguro kusog kayo. Inaram sa organ. Brush siya, drown out na siya sa background noise. Ang purpose na ko ng organ, just to drown out any background noise. Alright. Ang under sheriff o si Captain Jensen kuno were treated the licenses, weapons licenses and commodities as commodities and found willing buyers. Moyer allegedly offered to donate hundreds of Apple products to the sheriff's office in exchange for the gun licenses. The promised donation of 200 iPads worth $70,000 US. Remember, ang $10,000 US is about $500,000 pesos. So, okay, times 7 is about times 7, 3.5 million pesos. Okay. Ito saan naman ako. Okay, so na-mute na akong mic using my tablet touch. Okay. Magamit na sa ano. Pwede sana ako to mag-istorya ko, pwede sana ko i-off na akong camera. No? Sige lang. May pa nang kita mo na ako nga actually itong bagos telephone. Okay, so gimmick na ha? That's at tong time. I'm using a tablet to control my screen. Nindot na itong mga Blackmagic A10 Mini Pro pero tag 40,000 mas itong A10 Mini Pro. Di ta ka-afford na to. Kung kuan pa lang, napamay funds. Because I'm the one familiar with more or less technology sa mong grupo. Remember, I'm an electronics engineer. So, kung buto na naon, magkaayo ko ng mga guba ng mga TV. Kung buto na naon. Pero tapulan ng tanya, wala na experience na. Sa una, sa mga bata pa mi, magkuan mi, Tig-ayo ng high school pa. Tig-ayo ng mga radyo, mga TV. Karon sayo na yung mga TV. Kumbuto na. Tapulan lang ta niya. Kuti, you really need to be a guy nga hilig kay kunana. Used to be ganan ko na, pero karon kapuyan ako na mag-abriglo use TV. So mahal ng tagsambri to. Pero ang TV na to karon, di ba nipis kay na sa likod? Pulos na mga wires and boards. Sometimes kan di na makaw yung TV, di na mo-off na siya, wala screen, power supply ra siya. Sometimes connectors. Tagsara na maguba ng entire LCD screen, pero sometimes ilarom sa technician, guba imong LCD sir, guba imong screen. Pero actually ang guba ato connectors ra. Connectors na luwag ang connector tungod sa init. Sometimes mga luwag ang connectors. Unya pilan na ka-board siya, 1, 2 or 3 boards na siya ang major boards na sluyo. In fact, sa tanaw mo sa YouTube, how to repair LED TV na sa mga YouTube. Okay, so balik ta. Chatroom, okay. Kumusta mo din na? Lipay sa ko na din, naminaw na to na. Si Klein Maverick, naminaw na to. Grabe si Klein Maverick, the computer expert. So man Klein, asa na mag-imong liquid cooled computer. Klein Maverick. Actually, pagpalit na ko o kanang palit man ko RAM ba? Kanang RAM upgrade sa akong RAM. Dito ko nanawag ni Klein Maverick. Kay si Klein, na siya mga baratura nga mga kuan. Makasave ka kay sa tindahan. Ngadto ka sa SM, ngadto ka sa Ayala. Mga prices dari kong Klein. Kung gusto mo mamalit o mga upgrade sa inyong mga SSD card, graphics card, RAM sa inyong computer, hard disk, kontak ko ninyo kay akong ihatag na ko ninyo ang number ni Klein. Kay dito ko niya nangayo og dito ko niya ni order og RAM. So kaya kung computer, ang RAM sa computer karon is already 16 by 4. 16 GB by 4 ka slots. 16 by 4. Okay, so salamat yung pag-iguban ka na ko. Ha? Right, so balik ta sa okay. Time. Okay. O sa main. Alright, so here I am. Again. So, ano to ha? Ipangbaligya ako noong licenses. Pero matod pa sa lawyer, sa Apple Chief, Global Security Chief, is a hardworking, decent man, US Navy veteran, Desert Storm, law degree, and an attorney. He has worked at Apple for 14 years. He is now the head of global security. His entire professional career has been founded on the belief that a good leader models ethics and integrity and does not deserve to have his gold name tarnished in these baseless charges. In fact, matod pa sa Apple, wala yung doing in internal investigation. Okay, so. And what happened to Zoom? Magiging makaigsanan. Karon everybody is using Zoom. Pero di ko na may plano sa una. Dinay usa ka tweet nga nakapakugang ni Eric Yuan. He knew something had to change. Matod pa ni Eric Yuan. Si Boris Johnson. Ang Prime Minister sa UK shared a photo from his first ever virtual cabinet meeting. The cyber security red flags jumped out immediately. some of the cabinet secretaries' Zoom screen names makitaan were visible. You could see them, which platform the cabinet was running. You could see on its computers, and most glaringly, the meeting ID was visible for everyone to see. The meeting ID. So, that was the big aha moment matud pa sa Zoom board member nga si Santi. Zoom grew into a vastly profitable business selling software to businesses that could enable a virtual capital firm to seamlessly take virtual pitch meetings from around the globe, or an executive to deliver an all hands to a remote workforce. Empowering British cabinet makers was never on the radar. Ang ila pang business na gito. By the way, ako na yung na-mention dire, usas nadato aning at sa Zoom, in fact, marag 20% sa income. Si Li Ka-shing, I have mentioned Li Ka-shing all since for the last 20 years. This atong programa sa ABS pa. Li Ka-shing used to be the world's richest Chinese, pero nalupigan na siya sa kaning ni mga IT billionaires ron, no? Nalupigan kasi Li Ka-shing started out as a maker of plastic flowers and then went into real property, real estate business and telecom and all other business. Kanang watchon kang Li Ka-shing na watchons in Hong Kong. So pag tanan ko na may Watson sa kuan, Watson there is sa Pilipinas. Kang Li Ka-shing na Mr. Li Ka-shing. Karon Li Ka-shing invested into Zoom maybe 10 years ago. So karon na super billionaire siya na. Anyway, now what sila mag-expect ang taga Zoom si Eric Yuan nga anyway kanang apelidong Yuan Cantonese kay na apelido. Our company used to be 100% enterprise focused. Matud pa sa Zoom board members. Now, it is powering the world. It is powering governments, education, social activities, and then when the other shoe dropped, it's like we need to get ready for that. Matud pa sa usa ka board member. Zoom was already enmeshed in controversy less than 2 weeks earlier. The New York Times had raised the flag on Zoom bombing, opening the door to a flood of scrutiny from its feeding data into Facebook to the New York State Attorney General scrutinizing its data practices. But for Eric Yuan, 50-year-old, bata pa, 50-year-old founder and CEO of Zoom, it was the Johnson tweet that changed everything. Matud pa ni Boris Johnson, this morning I chaired the first ever digital cabinet. Our message to the public is stay at home, protect the NHS, save lives. And na-screenshot, pero ang mga nganso na dito, napan dito ang meeting ID sa screenshot. This was our wake-up call, matud pa ni Eric Yuan, CEO sa Zoom. Ingon siya, April, a few months ago. Yuan blames himself for not anticipating that users might want to share a screenshot of a meeting. What's I expect? For his business client, sharing a screenshot of your own board meeting would be unthinkable. Unthinkable. Diba? But business clients weren't his only worry anymore. The world had become Eric Yuan's customer sa Zoom. Okay, standby sa takalit magkaigsunan ha. I-off akong camera. I-off akong Alright, sorry. Nagnanog. Okay. Salamat sa iyong pag-iuban ka na po nag-excellent, ha? So, the world has become the customer of Zoom. Now, within a week, Zoom pushed out an update that would hide the meeting ID from view, but for Yuan and his team at Zoom, the damage had only just begun. Yuan built the Zoom to please his customers, so he wanted to deliver happiness, matod pa niya. And for years, that meant giving his business clients a high-quality video conferencing platform that was easy to use, frictionless, as the company likes to say. But during a global pandemic that has transformed Zoom into an essential tool for schools, church groups of weddings, and the cabinet of a J7 economy, Yuan is trying to figure out how to make Zoom something it was never meant to be. Now, Zoom is not only a business communication company, suddenly it has become an infrastructure company. Since the pandemic, Yuan has had little time to enjoy his family's multiplying fortune. It's now about $19 billion. He refers to April as one of the most stressful times in his life. Kaya giban ang kuwan ang chat sa Tesla. Nilang Elon Musk, giban ang Zoom. Zooming, eating, and sleeping. Marinate. I've had sleepless nights, he said, in front of a virtual background with the words, "We care," hovering over heart-shaped Earth. What is the question keeping the company of the CEO, one that is now worth more than double General Motors, up at night? Matod pa ni Yuan, how did we get here? Remember, Zoom, a software company, ang iyang market value is now double the market value of a 100-year-old company called General Motors. So, Philippine government, please, as I wrote in one of my columns 15 years ago, our future is software. Software. Artificial intelligence software. Kaya di ta kinahanglan mahal nga manufacturing. From Shandong to Silicon Valley. Si Yuan grew up in the Shandong province in China, in what he describes as a middle-class family. The child of geological engineers, Yuan was an average student who studied computer science, and after a stint working in Japan, decided he wanted to enter the center of technological innovation. Of course, that means Silicon Valley. I wanted to embrace the first wave of internet revolution. Matod pa ni Yuan. So he applied for an H-1B visa to come to America, but was rejected, and then rejected again and again. It has now become part of his founder's lore that Yuan applied 8 times before being accepted into the US. So Yuan entered Silicon Valley in 1997. 1997 when I first internet boom, remember? Entranced by fast-growing companies like Netscape and Yahoo, who were revolutionizing the world's communications, Yuan wanted to get in on the ground floor of a bustling startup. He founded it at WebEx. A young company. He was among the first 20 employees whose goal was to leverage rapidly increasing bandwidth capabilities into online meetings where you could share your desktop screen easily and cheaply. Okay, so muna ikaw sa WebEx. Online meetings, you can share your desktop screen easily and cheaply. Yuan, who was 27 years old at the time, fit into the global workforce of WebEx. A significant number of Chinese immigrants were recruited alongside Yuan. He found himself stymied by his inability to speak English. While he could understand the conversation about him, he says he couldn't participate. I couldn't join a marketing team or a sales team. So I had to go back to writing code. Yuan's former colleagues associate Yuan's limited English. He still has a thick Chinese accent now, with him being repeatedly overlooked because he had limited English. I saw a tremendous amount of unconscious bias against Eric. Eric is the first name Yuan. Eric Yuan. Because he didn't look the part, he didn't sound the part. Matod pa sa former VP of Product Management at WebEx. He put so much stock in how people communicate, we ascribe their eloquence to be their intelligence. While Yuan couldn't control how others understood his English, he focused on what he could control, which is his work, coding. I knew two things from my father: keep working hard, stay humble, and someday you'll be okay. The WebEx years. So, WebEx was founded by two immigrants also. Si SIBYA I.T, gikan sa India, mo'y nagda sa marketing and sales, may ka ng Indian na pagarpara na. While Min Zhu, the Stanford-educated immigrant from China, was in charge of technical development. So both became mentors for Yuan, and WebEx's early days were similar to many startups in Silicon Valley, a flat, diffuse hierarchy that rewarded long hours from a loyal staff intent on changing the world. We were very scrappy, matod pa ni Ed Wong. He was a friend of Eric who worked as a product manager with him at WebEx. Unlike other product-focused companies, WebEx sold itself as a cheap cloud-based SaaS or software as a service that only required you to download its product. No expensive hardware purchases necessary. Your economics had to be different, matod pa ni SIBYA I.T, founders of WebEx. The price point for SaaS meant that you didn't get too much money upfront. You could get it on a monthly basis. That software as a service business or SaaS the SaaS model put tremendous pressure on the employees of WebEx to continually service and respond to their customers' demands. Companies were taking risks, moving meetings and events online, and any disruption in that service was seen by the WebEx team as an existential threat. Matod pa nila, nobody thinks of web conferencing as mission critical. Ito panahon na. But when a meeting goes south, you've got 8 or 10 executives on the call, it's a big deal. So, kung meeting ang mga board, for example, or management meeting, what siya mga importante ba ng kuan, kaning conference call. But, kung mupalpak ang imong conference call, you're talking about the top 10 executives of the company nga na-involve. So, magpalpak ka, grabe mong palpak. If the WebEx pa niya, hindi pa niya ang Zoom. If the WebEx was down for 5 minutes, I would spend the next month traveling and meeting customers, explaining to them why it happened and why it wouldn't happen again. Matod pa sa Osaka, kauban ni Eric Yuan dito sa WebEx. If your service goes down, you're going to get churn. People are going to switch away. So Yuan proved his worth to ER and Zhu, rising to lead the engineering team as the company's fortunes grow. First, there was the RuPaul Super Bowl ad in year 2000, then a successful IPO later that year, and WebEx even received an unlikely boost after 9/11. Okay, after 9/11. Amid global panic, companies who didn't want their employees flying unnecessarily instead turned to a service that could enable cheap and easy virtual meetings. And because WebEx was built on the cloud, Yuan and his engineering team software could scale and meet the increasing demand. After first fielding an offer from IBM, ER and WebEx board decided to sell their company to Cisco for $3.2 billion in 2007. Walang Cisco WebEx manigamit sa CNN. Yuan was so attached to WebEx that he referred to it as his baby, now found himself an employee of one of the largest technology companies in the world. From a fast-growing startup to a rounding error. Thanks to the Cisco acquisition, Yuan became a rich man. But while some WebEx employees took their earnings and split, wary of making the transition from a fast-growing startup to just a mere cog in a Fortune 500 corporation, Yuan stuck around. It was his baby after all. He wasn't ready to leave yet, although Cisco, dako na sila. They were just a cog in the wheel of Cisco. He had a lot of loyalty. Matod pa ni David Knight, was VP of WebEx at the time of the acquisition. But that loyalty was quickly tested. Almost immediately, they started to dismiss everything we did. Matod pa ni Machi Part, usa ka WebEx employee. Eric was dismissed, along with other leadership at WebEx, as being a kind of second rate. But still, Yuan stayed, Eric stayed. Every time I felt like leaving, I got emotional. He worked at Cisco for 4 years. Former WebEx employees who made the transition to Cisco describe a key philosophical difference in how the two companies handle their customers. While sa WebEx, ang ilang SaaS model required them to serve their customers 24/7, Cisco made its billions by selling physical routers and switches. So hardware, it's a completely different mindset. Cisco just sells the gear and it's up to your network. If your company's network goes down, nobody's going to blame Cisco. WebEx, which was once a fast-growing startup, was now just a cog in the blue chip behemoth, and we were just a rounding error in Cisco's business. Rounding error. So Yuan felt for the first time that he couldn't satisfy his customers. He says his WebEx customers grow frustrated with the quality of their products. They wanted WebEx to work reliably and more intuitively, and above all else, they wanted video to run seamlessly. Now, he was sincere and almost naive in that he always cared about the WebEx customers and that they were not being attended to. Matod pa ni ER. And ingon si ER, si Yuan, ingon should never have sold the company. Pero $3.2 billion, ingon ang ano. Yuan would confide in ER that he felt like he was betraying the customer obsessed ideals he learned at WebEx. He had the advantage in retrospect that the only thing he grew up with, and that's the only thing he grew up with, in a sense, one of his strengths is that he's a purist to that model. Si Eric was purist to that model, software as a service, customer. Now, for Yuan, his time Cisco turned out to be invaluable. It transformed him from an engineer to entrepreneur, and Yuan's frustrations into Cisco sparked the flames in the fire that he became very competitive. And founding Zoom was purely a reaction to them not listening to him. WebEx acquisition was a very important one for us. Matod pa sa Cisco and changed the way the world works. We thank Eric for his time at Cisco. Now, in 2011, that's just 9 years ago, 10 years ago, Eric Yuan left Cisco in 2011 along with around 40 China-based WebEx engineers. Initial funding for his new company came from his acquaintances and former colleagues, including SIBYA I.T, ang founder sa WebEx. If he told me he was sending a person to Mars, I would have put money in, matod pa ni ER. With the funding and staff in place, Yuan launched in 2011 Zoom. The pitch was simple: build a better WebEx. He didn't try and revolutionize it. He just made it better and cheaper and higher quality and simpler and video centered. Yuan's plan was to capture WebEx enterprise market. He relied on building Zoom video first. It would be cloud-based. It runs on Macs and PCs, iPhones, Androids, and you can make it work without downloading software, any software in your browser. Browser na. Above all else, Yuan wanted to make his customers happy. I wanted to join a company where I woke up every morning and felt happy. I wanted to build a better solution to deliver happiness to the WebEx customers. That's it. AT&T, which owns CNN parent company Warner Media, offers business customers Cisco's WebEx collaboration software, which competes with Zoom. So AT&T ng WebEx and Cisco. Now, the Holy Grail. It turns out, what makes the customers of video conferencing happy are the things they don't have to think about. For example, no one wants to download an app or sign up for an account if they don't have to. They just want things to work. But ask any engineer and they will tell you that making a simple product is never simple. You have to build a lot of discipline into the product. Okay, it's now, according to a former WebEx veteran, who is now Chief Product Officer of Zoom. Just as WebEx built a cutting-edge screen sharing platform of the new bandwidth enabled by DSL and T1 lines in the 1990s, Zoom will be built off the advanced data networks of streaming HD video. Videos are not possible in the 2000s because the bandwidth was not there. DSL pa man to suna. That was challenging. That was changing. Now, in a Zoom call, each user can upload upwards of 2 streams, one for video, one for screen sharing, to a cloud server, which then compresses each stream, adjusts the output for the bandwidth and the CPU capability of each customer or phone, of each computer or phone, and sends them back with as low a latency as possible. Multiply that by 100 users, the problem becomes exponentially more complicated. You don't know what you don't see. Just experience the result. Matod pa ni ER, ang katong former founder sa WebEx. Everybody thinks video conferencing is easy. It turns out that the tech is really hard to do. You don't control the network. You don't control the ISP. You don't control whether somebody turns on the microwave on and interferes with the Wi-Fi. While figuring out how to make scalable video calls was a daunting challenge for Iwan's team, it was only half the battle. They also had to make Zoom frictionless. Now, Zoom could work in any browser. It wouldn't need you to adjust your firewall settings. And unlike WebEx meetings with their hard to remember pins and meeting IDs, Zoom could be accessible via a simple link. Getting rid of user friction is that kind of holy grail. So Eric Yuan's new baby, Zoom, was up and running, and Zoom's plan was to pilfer off WebEx customers to attract new users. Zoom began offering a free version of its product, meetings under 40 minutes with up to 100 users, free to use. Yuan's bet was that as more users tried Zoom, businesses would see that it worked better than WebEx and would end up paying to switch to a new product. Ang free model gave it an entrance into the crowded marketplace where the competition of some largest companies in the world. Ang iyang competition. Of course, there was Cisco WebEx. Zoom competed against Microsoft and Google. But while companies might have established deals with WebEx, Zoom's free accounts meant that employees of those companies could use just Zoom. Everyone had a Cisco WebEx or they had Microsoft suites, but everyone used Zoom because of how easy it was to send out that link. Live from Zoom, it's Saturday Night Live. Zoom was winning, and Zoom's free model worked at tech companies like us. We used Zoom before the free version, pero go beyond 40 minutes na tao, kami subscriber ng SIBYA TV. Zoom's simplicity and efficiency signed up for the premium Zoom subscription. In a few short years, Zoom found itself the video conferencing market leader, and they had an IPO last year, 2019. Yuan became a billionaire multiple times over, and the Zoom was just growing. But a funny thing happened. A global pandemic turned Zoom into a household name. While the world shutting down in a matter of weeks, every institution, every school, every college, every family now found themselves in a desperate way to communicate. You don't go into a pandemic with a video conferencing solution you wish you had. You go into the pandemic with a video conferencing solution you have. So, hindi nga magayon nga, mas maayo tatong paano. Kung sa nada, free. So, according to Zoom, its traffic skyrocketed to 3,000% in just a single month. 3,000% a single month. Zoom expectedly joined Google Clinics and Band-Aid in the hallowed branding pantheon of the proprietary eponyms. You're free to Zoom. So, mura na siya Band-Aid Clinics Colgate. So, Google. Okay. And during the unprecedented spike in traffic, Zoom's cloud network built on AWS and Oracle, that's Amazon Web Services and Oracle, scaled up to meet the crushing demand. Yuan's obsessions, video, ease of use, scalable architecture, all paid off amid a cratering global market. Zoom stock soared 600% since the beginning of 2000. But as the Zoom transitioned in from IT departments to the late night with Jimmy Fallon and 10 Downing Street, of course, is the residence, the number of the residence of the Prime Minister of London, UK. Security researchers began to dig into this newly ubiquitous company. Was it easy enough for human to use the product, actually safe for any of us to use? The hits came quick. Zoom bombing. Zoom's encryption was discovered to be inadequate. Chinese servers His privacy policy was picked apart. Lawsuits were filed. SpaceX, ang kang Elon Musk na Tesla Group, banned employees from using Zoom. Okay. So, manang ilang gi-adjust. Zoom acted swiftly. They patched their security vulnerabilities. By November, Zoom settled with the Federal Trade Commission over the unfair and deceptive security practices, according to them. Now, karon gi-kuha na nila, gi-address na nila. His product did so well that it broke. Tungkol sa iyang success. Zoom stock cratered, hinting at investor skepticism as to how the company would fare in return to normalcy. So, pero ang problema, nakakuha na anad butag Zoom, so bisan pag manormal na kanang mga Zoom meetings na to, okay na lang. Di na ta mag-meet para mag-meeting. In April, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi erroneously referred to Zoom as a Chinese entity. Kay si Eric Zoom, pero Zoom is actually an American-based company in San Jose. So, matod pa sa ubang mga kuan, Zoom is malware, napoy ba? Zoom isn't malware, controversial kayo. Okay. So, matod pa ni Eric yun, finally. If the world misunderstands us, then I don't blame others. It's our problem. We are a very proud American company. The company is a public NASDAQ company, headquartered in San Jose. I'm a Chinese American. I truly believe as long as you do the right thing, sooner or later, you will know it. They will know it. Just be patient. In 10 to 20 years, when people write the history of COVID-19, I want them to write that Zoom did the right thing for the world. Matod pa ni Eric Kiwan. Anyway, salamat yung pag-uban ka na kung magkaiksunan. Okay. O, paano da? Okay. Okay. Thank you and good afternoon. Kini si Jet Events sa SIBYA I.T with Kuya GT is now the 24th of November 2020. We are on our episode number 33. Salamat yung pag-uban ka na ko. See you